Let us go through the steps to use the inhaler along with the spacer correctly. For children below 4 years of age, we need to use a spacer with a mask to make sure that the medication is delivered properly. For children above 4 years of age, we can use the spacer without a mask. So let us first go through the steps for children above 4 years of age. The first step is to assemble the spacer. To do so, firmly push the two halves of the spacer together and rotate it with the mouthpiece cap in place. The spacer comes with two locks that ensure the proper assembling of both halves. You remove the mouthpiece cap from the mouthpiece of the spacer and then you remove the mouthpiece from the inhaler. You make sure that you shake the inhaler well. Next, you insert the inhaler firmly to the opposite end of the spacer. Before giving the first dose, ensure that the child breathes fully out. Then, remove the mouthpiece cap from the spacer and see that the child closes his lip firmly around the mouthpiece to create a good seal. To release a dose into the spacer, you have to press down the canister while holding the inhaler. You will see that there is a dose released into the spacer. Make sure that the child breathes in deeply through the mouth, thus inhaling the medicine through the spacer. Make your child take 6 to 10 breaths in a similar manner through the spacer. In case your child is not able to take deep breaths, then allow your child to take regular breaths and increase the total number of breaths to 10. You can also check to see if you can hear the sound of the valve of the spacer opening and closing. This can be heard like a clicking sound. In case you do not hear it, then you can close the nostrils of your child so that your child takes more effective breaths through the mouth only. If your child is very comfortable taking the inhaler with a spacer, you can also try to tell your child to take a deep breath and hold his or her breath for a few seconds after taking the breath through the spacer. For younger children, less than 4 years, we prefer to use the mask attached to the spacer, as the child will not be able to hold the spacer with a good seal in the mouth. So in this case, you need to ensure that the mask is fitting correctly and with a tight seal around the child's face. There should be no leak around this mask. You can then administer the puff in the same way as I described before. Except here, a child less than 4 years may not cooperate to take the deep breaths, hold his breath, or even have the patience to listen to any steps. So here, after you administer the puff, you only need to hold the spacer and the mask to the face of a child for around 1 minute and let the child breathe regularly. You can ask your child to take deep breaths, but if he or she doesn't do it, do not worry. Just regular breathing through the mask for around a minute will ensure that the medication will go in. In case you need to administer a second dose, then you need to again detach the inhaler, shake the inhaler well, reattach it, and follow all the exact steps again. Allow your child to inhale the second dose in the same way as we have demonstrated for the first dose. After finishing the dose, make sure that your child gargles with water to cleanse any medication left behind in the mouth. Remember that children should always use the spacer under parental guidance.